Before we talk about what rich retirees never buy, we need to talk about something more fundamental, something invisible, something that exists entirely inside the mind, but determines almost every financial decision a retiree makes for the rest of their life. The difference between a wealthy retiree and a struggling retiree is not just a number in a bank account. It is a completely different relationship with money itself. And once you understand that difference, everything else on this list will make perfect sense. Here is something that most financial education completely ignores. The gap between wealthy retirees and struggling retirees is not created at retirement. It is not even created in the final decade of working life. It is created across an entire lifetime of small daily decisions that are driven by two fundamentally different ways of thinking about money, value, and spending. And those two different mindsets produce two completely different retirement outcomes with stunning consistency. The wealthy retiree does not think about the price of something. They think about the cost of something. Those two words sound identical, but they mean completely different things in practice. Price is the number on the tag. Cost is the total financial impact of a purchasing decision across time. A cheap product bought repeatedly over 5 years costs far more than a quality product bought once and used for a decade. A financial decision that feels comfortable today can cost tens of thousands of dollars in lost compound growth over 20 years. Wealthy retirees instinctively calculate cost. Struggling retirees instinctively react to price. The second mindset difference is how each group thinks about assets versus expenses. Wealthy retirees are deeply and almost instinctively aware of the difference between spending money on something that holds or grows in value and spending money on something that immediately begins losing value the moment it is purchased. Every dollar they spend is evaluated through this lens before it leaves their account. Struggling retirees rarely make this distinction consciously. They buy based on desire, emotion, social pressure, and habit. And they rarely stop to ask whether what they are purchasing is moving them toward financial security or away from it. The third mindset difference is how each group relates to marketing and advertising. Wealthy retirees are deeply skeptical of anything designed to make them feel they need something they did not know they needed yesterday. They understand that the entire consumer economy is engineered to separate them from their money as efficiently as possible. Struggling retirees are far more susceptible to advertising, social comparison spending, and the emotional triggers that modern marketing has spent billions of dollars perfecting. Understanding these three mindset differences is essential before we look at the specific purchases that separate wealthy retirees from struggling ones, because the list is not really about the items themselves, it is about the thinking, or lack of thinking, behind every purchase. Now that you understand the mindset gap, let us get into the actual list. And the very first thing rich retirees almost never buy is something that millions of struggling retirees spend money on every single month without ever questioning it. I want you to pull out your bank statement right now. Scroll through your last 30 days of transactions. I guarantee you are going to find at least 2, probably 3 or 4, monthly charges that you barely think about anymore. Charges that have been quietly leaving your account every single month for years. Wealthy retirees call these invisible wealth destroyers, and they almost never have them. The first thing rich retirees almost never buy is subscriptions they do not actively and intentionally use every single week. This sounds simple. It is not. The subscription economy has been deliberately engineered to exploit human psychology in ways that make it extraordinarily difficult to cancel, easy to forget, and emotionally uncomfortable to give up even when the service is rarely used. Think about how many subscription services the average American household carries today. Streaming platforms, music services, software subscriptions, magazine and news subscriptions, meal kit deliveries, fitness apps, cloud storage, premium phone services, box subscriptions. The average American household now spends over $300 per month on subscription services, and research consistently shows that most people dramatically underestimate what they actually spend. $300 per month is $3,600 per year. Over a 20-year retirement, that is $72,000, nearly enough to fund 2 full years of modest retirement living, quietly drained through services that are often used casually at best and completely forgotten at worst. Wealthy retirees audit their subscriptions ruthlessly and regularly. They ask one simple question about every recurring charge. If this service disappeared tomorrow, would I immediately pay to get it back? If the answer is anything less than an immediate yes, the subscription is canceled without guilt or hesitation. The second thing rich retirees almost never buy is a brand new car. And this one surprises most people because wealthy retirees can easily afford new cars. The point is, they choose not to buy them because they understand what a new car purchase actually costs beyond the sticker price. A new vehicle loses between 15 and 25% of its value the moment it is driven off the dealership lot. In the first 3 years of ownership, a new car typically loses 40 to 50% of its purchase price in depreciation alone. A $50,000 vehicle becomes a $25,000 vehicle in 3 years through depreciation, while simultaneously costing thousands more in comprehensive insurance premiums, registration fees, and financing costs compared to a quality used vehicle. Wealthy retirees typically buy 2 to 4-year-old certified pre-owned vehicles with low mileage that have already absorbed the devastating initial depreciation hit. They drive them for 10 years. They pay cash or finance minimally, and they redirect the thousands of dollars saved every year into investments that actually grow. Those 2 categories alone can save a retiree thousands every year. But things 3 and 4 on this list are even more surprising and far more common than most people realize. The next 2 things on this list are purchased by millions of Americans every single day. One is sold to you at the checkout counter of almost every major retailer in the country. The other is sold at nearly every gas station, grocery store, and convenience store in America. Both are presented as opportunities. Both feel like smart decisions in the moment. And both are, according to the data, almost never purchased by genuinely wealthy retirees. Here is exactly why. The third thing rich retirees almost never buy is an extended warranty on any consumer product. Extended warranties are one of the most profitable products ever invented by the retail industry, not for the consumer, but for the retailer. When a store employee enthusiastically encourages you to add an extended warranty to your purchase, it is because that warranty generates an enormous profit margin for the store while delivering statistically very little value to the buyer. Here is the reality behind extended warranties. Most consumer electronics and appliances that are going to fail due to manufacturing defects will fail within the original manufacturer warranty period. Products that survive past the manufacturer warranty period are statistically likely to keep working reliably for years beyond that. The extended warranty is protecting you against a failure scenario that is statistically unlikely while charging you a significant premium for that protection year after year. Wealthy retirees self-insure against small consumer product failures by maintaining a dedicated emergency fund. If an appliance breaks, they replace it from savings without financial stress. The money they would have spent on extended warranties across decades of purchasing decisions stays invested and growing rather than paying for insurance coverage they rarely, if ever, collect on. The fourth thing rich retirees almost never buy is lottery tickets. And this is a sensitive topic because lottery tickets are deeply embedded in the culture of hope and aspiration that defines many working-class and middle-class communities across America. But the data is unambiguous and worth confronting honestly. Americans spend approximately $100 billion on lottery tickets every single year. The average American spends over $500 annually on lottery tickets. And the statistical reality is that the lottery is one of the worst financial transactions available to any consumer in the modern economy. with expected returns of approximately 50 cents for every dollar spent. Wealthy retirees understand probability deeply. They know that the $500 spent annually on lottery tickets invested consistently in a broad market index fund over 30 years becomes approximately $50,000 in retirement wealth. They made that choice decades ago, and they never looked back. Now we move into the purchases that are truly invisible, the ones that feel responsible and even smart, but are quietly undermining retirement security for millions of Americans every single year. The next three things on this list have something deeply important in common. They are all purchased primarily for the way they make the buyer feel, not for the genuine financial or practical value they deliver. And that distinction between buying for feeling versus buying for value is one of the most important financial dividing lines between wealthy retirees and struggling ones. Let me show you exactly what I mean. The fifth thing rich retirees almost never buy is a timeshare. Timeshares are one of the most financially damaging purchases available to retirees, and yet they are sold aggressively to the retirement age demographic through free vacation offers, high-pressure sales presentations, and emotionally compelling promises of guaranteed vacation memories for life. The financial reality of timeshares is brutal and well documented. The average timeshare purchase price is approximately $22,000. The average annual maintenance fee is over $1,000, a fee that increases every year and must be paid regardless of whether you use the timeshare or not. And unlike almost every other significant purchase, a timeshare does not hold its value or appreciate over time. The resale market for timeshares is essentially non-existent. Units that originally sold for $20,000 routinely sell on the secondary market for $1, literally $1, because owners are so desperate to escape the perpetual maintenance fee obligation that they will give the unit away for free just to end the financial bleeding. Wealthy retirees vacation on their own terms, book when they want, go where they want, and spend what they choose. They never lock themselves into a rigid and expensive ownership structure that delivers far less flexibility than its marketing promises. The sixth thing rich retirees almost never buy is the brand name version of everyday products simply for the status of the brand name. Generic pharmaceuticals contain identical active ingredients to brand name versions at a fraction of the cost. Store brand food products are frequently manufactured in the same facilities as premium branded products. Generic household supplies, cleaning products, and personal care items deliver identical results at dramatically lower prices. The seventh thing rich retirees rarely buy is social status through spending. New furniture to impress visitors, designer clothing worn once or twice, expensive gifts given to project an image of generosity rather than from genuine desire to give. Wealthy retirees are remarkably indifferent to what their spending communicates to the people around them. They buy what delivers genuine value to their lives, and they are entirely comfortable with what that looks like to others. We have covered 7 powerful items on this list, but the 8th and final thing that rich retirees never buy is the most important one, and the most surprising. It is not a product. It is not a service. It is something far more costly than either. Everything on this list so far has been a product. Something you can touch, something you can hold, something with a price tag. But the 8th and most important thing that wealthy retirees never buy cannot be found in any store. It cannot be ordered online. It does not arrive with a receipt. And yet it is the single most expensive purchase that struggling retirees make, often repeatedly, throughout their entire retirement. Are you ready for this? The 8th thing that rich retirees almost never buy is financial ignorance. And before you dismiss that as too abstract or philosophical, stay with me for the next 2 minutes because this is the most important point in this entire video, and it ties every other item on this list together into one coherent and powerful truth. Financial ignorance is not a character flaw. It is not a sign of low intelligence or lack of effort. It is the predictable result of a financial system that has never been designed to educate ordinary Americans about how money actually works. The American school system does not teach personal finance in any meaningful depth. The financial services industry profits enormously from customers who do not fully understand the products they are buying. And the consumer economy spends billions of dollars every year engineering desires and manufacturing needs that keep ordinary Americans in a perpetual cycle of spending, borrowing, and financial stress. Wealthy retirees invest continuously in their own financial education. They read, they research, they ask questions, they work with advisors who explain rather than just recommend. They understand what they own, why they own it, what it costs them, and what it is supposed to do for their financial future. They never sign a document they do not understand. They never buy a financial product they cannot explain back in plain language. And they never make a major financial decision based on how the salesperson made them feel in the room. This financial literacy does not just protect them from bad purchases. It compounds in their favor over decades the same way money compounds in a well-managed investment account. Every bad purchase avoided is money that stays invested and growing. Every smart financial decision builds on the one before it. Every year of intentional financially educated living creates a foundation that makes the next year more secure and more free. Here is the final truth that this entire list points toward. The spending differences between wealthy retirees and struggling retirees are not primarily about income. They are about awareness. Awareness of what things truly cost beyond their price tags. Awareness of what marketing is designed to do to your decision-making. Awareness of the difference between purchases that move you toward financial freedom and purchases that quietly move you away from it. You now have that awareness. Use it every single day. Protect what you have built. Spend with intention. And retire with the dignity and security that a lifetime of smart financial decisions genuinely deserves. If this video gave you even one insight that changes how you spend your money in retirement, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel because we bring you this level of retirement education every single week. And share this video with someone you care about, because this list could genuinely change their financial future.